The militarization of Greenland and the wider Arctic region may push Russia and China closer together. The Russia-US relationship, or a lack of the relationship, whatever, has long dominated the Arctic region geopolitics. Geography makes the two neighbors and stakeholders sharing the challenges of a warming region. Now, President Trump's enduring interest in acquiring Greenland injects further potential challenges in the region's icy arena. When the idea was floated during his initial term in office, the immediate response from the Russian leadership, state operated media, and the public was a flood of memes. The second time around, however, Russia's domestic discourse has a more strategic flavor. Discussions now appear to focus less on the novelty of such an acquisition and more on the understanding of the objectives of this acquisition. Three potential scenarios for US Greenland relations are being debated in Moscow in terms of the strategic implications for Russia. The primary scenario is maintenance of the status quo. Maintaining the status quo would undoubtedly work in Russia's favor, as it would allow Moscow to maintain its position as the major military stakeholder in the Arctic. Moscow is wary, however, of the Danish government's potential to respond to Trump's rhetoric by deepening ties with China. The Russia China relationship is complex, integrated, and also fueled by the regional ambitions of both the players. Greenland has long provided a potential platform for increased Chinese presence in the Arctic, which pushes both Moscow and Beijing to deepen their cooperation. Of course, Denmark and Greenland has a successful track record of pushing back on China's economic encroachment so far. A second scenario discussed in Russia is the incremental expansion of the US presence in Greenland. This poses a significant challenge for Russia. These challenges can be categorized into three primary areas: the strengthening of US military presence in the Arctic, the control over strategic sea lines of communication in the high north, and third is the control over the rare earth mineral deposits. The third scenario being discussed is in United States is taking Greenland. The third scenario is taking them to military force. The prospect of Washington establishing a military control over Greenland is largely shrugged off, especially by Denmark in the recent narratives, but not altogether absent. Perhaps more concerning for the long-term global strategic balance is just how far the US Greenland policy will push Moscow and Beijing, and eventually New Delhi, to work together in the Arctic. All three scenarios discussed in Russia lead to the expansion and deepening to, of course, various extents of Russia-China Arctic relations. US Greenland policy, whether comes out or it will likely spark a renewed round of cooperation between Moscow and Beijing, or a spark of debate. Now, what do we do with all this confusing information? Just focus on investing in businesses which will not get affected by these events. The businesses of your investing company should ideally not be affected by these geopolitical events, which are very good to discuss over drinks with friends, but at the same time, they will not help appreciate your portfolio. You may look intelligent within the crowd if you try and extrapolate these situations to your stock portfolio, but a dumbass who doesn't really care about this and invests in a company which, for example, makes and sells in India would make more money than the intelligent investor.